Hi, I'm Robert O'Brien from O'Brien Guitars, and every time I launch a new course, it never fails. I get a lot of emails and a lot of questions about, hey, what materials did you use and what tools do you use in the course? Do you have a tool list? So let's first of all start talking about the materials that I use in this new course, the 6-day acoustic guitar building course. I use the LMI unserviced kit. Now I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, he's building from a kit. No, I'm not. This is called the unserviced kit. And it's actually a misnomer. What it means is that everything comes in the same box. And there's only a few things that have been pre-done. The rosette is pre-done because in the 6-day acoustic guitar building course, which is what I do here in my own personal shop with my students, to build a guitar and a rosette in 6 days, that's a lot of work. Not saying it can't be done, but that's not what we do here in my classes and in my courses. So the rosette is pre-made. The bindings and the purflings have been pre-cut. You still have to bend them. And the kerfing that we glue to the sides and glue the top and the back to that has been pre-done for you. That's the only thing that's been pre-done. And that's just busy work anyway. You're going to get a neck blank and you got to do the scarf joint. You got to carve it and glue the blocks on, all that other stuff. I mean, so you're going to do it all. You're going to thickness the sides, bend the sides, thickness the back, join the top, install the rosette. So it's really a misnomer. However, if you don't want to invest in all the tools I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes, LMI will, they have what they call a serviced kit. So you can call them and say, hey, thickness and bend the sides for me, or join the top, or join the back, or hey, go ahead and install that rosette for me. So they'll take it as far as you want to take it. If your comfort level is not quite as high, or you don't have the tools or the machinery, then they will take it and service parts of that kit for you as far as you want to take it. Now, also in the course, what we build is an OM size guitar. However, the materials that you get from LMI, you can build a dreadnought, you can build a jumbo, a grand auditorium, an OM, a parlor, you can use whatever you want. And by the way, the item number of the materials that I use here in the course is KLSRO. KLS is in Sam, RO is for the Robert O'Brien kit. And that is the unserviced kit. And if you call them up or go to their website, you can get the materials. Now, if you want to build a different model than what we build here in the course, which is an OM model, then just get the appropriate plans. Get the dread plans of the grand auditorium or the small jumbo or whatever you want to use. So that takes care of the materials. Let's talk about the tools. I have never put out a tool list with my courses. I didn't want folks to feel that they had to purchase my tools in order to build the guitar, because that's not true. Also, there's so many different ways to do things. What works for one person may not work for another. And so there's a lot of different ways you can do things. Here's what I recommend. Before you buy anything, any materials, any tools, any jigs, anything, just watch the videos from beginning to end. As you're watching the videos, make yourself a little list. And I think you'll find that, hey, I've already got some of these things. I already have a set of bench chisels or a scraper or files or a hand plane, a bandsaw. You may have some of that stuff. So go ahead and make a little list there. As you're making the list, you might see some things in the video that, hey, I can make that. I don't necessarily need to buy that. And there's a lot of information out on the internet where you can make jigs that will help you and you don't have to necessarily buy them. And finally, on the third list you got going is what you actually need to buy. Now, what you need to buy for one person, the next person might not need. For example, I use the LMI side bending machine to bend the sides in the course because we do it in 6 days. However, I've bent sides for years on a 3.5-inch pipe filled with charcoal, lighted on fire, and that's when I would wrap my sides around and bend. So there's a lot of different ways to do things. You don't necessarily have to have the latest, greatest commercially made item in order to follow the course here. Once you get into building the guitar, if you want some repeatability and a little precision, it's not a bad idea to invest in some tooling. For example, when you get to your fretwork, it's not a bad idea to get some fretting tools. When you get to cutting your binding channels, for example, boy, that pucker factor sure comes down quite a bit if you've got a commercially made binding jig. And what I use in the course is the LMI binding jig. So that's why I've never made a tool list. I must be getting weak in my old age here because I'm going to provide you with a tool list. Every tool that I use in the course, I'm going to provide free of charge, whether you buy the course or not. I'm going to make a little list and you can download it as a PDF. And that way you have a tool list. Now, you may not need every item on that list. Some things you may think are optional, but at least it will provide you a starting point. So there you go. There's the tools and the materials that I use here in the course. But once again, I highly recommend that you watch the course from beginning to end before you buy anything. And happy building.